IVM.
Hi,
You're
listening to IVM
Daily.
Hello and welcome to IVM Daily, the home pitch for IVM staff members where we discuss ideas, experiences and current issues. Today we are going to discuss an issue that you might have thought about, you might not have thought about, but we will make you think about it. So we are discussing the life-changing moments. I have with me in the studio Gaurav,
Hello.
Abbas
Hello.
and our guest Mudit Dandwate.
Hello.
So, Gaurav, first of all, you tell me, I've been asking you since this morning that, Gaurav,
Right.
what was your life-changing moment?
Well, I've only lived 23 years, not too much of life experienced, but I mean, it changes on a very regular basis.
Yes.
One of my life-changing experiences was when I was younger, I think maybe the good old days on like 9th standard, 10th standard. And I decided that, you know what, I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did it and I lost about like 14 kgs in like 3-4 months. And
How much did you weigh back then?
so I went from being 72 kgs to 57.
Oh,
Or
that's
something like
massive.
That. 68 to 57. Sorry, 11 kgs only.
11
I lied.
kgs, okay.
Yeah. So 68 to 57 I'd gone to. And girls started noticing me, which was a big life changer at that time. I was like, whoa, I exist.
No,
and
they
then-
were probably noticing you before because you were blocking out
the sun.
and now they were like, wow, where's this light coming from? Oh, Gaurav's lost
Where
weight.
is Gaurav gone?
Yeah. And then
Who's
again,
this
my
new
life.
slim guy?
Okay,
Sorry, go on.
yeah. And then again, my life changed again when I stopped giving a shit like 2 years later. I'm like, I'm going to put all the weight back on. I'm done with this life. So my life changed again. But yeah.
But was there a reason for these decisions, or was it just
Just happened.
just
well,
happened?
I mean, when I was younger, I was trying to, I guess, impress girls and everything. I did not have that much of a
Okay.
self-confidence.
Okay.
And then when I became skinny, I became very, very overconfident. And I'm
Since
like, I don't
then-
even need good looks anymore. हम तो ऐसे ही खाएंगे, पिएंगे, नाचेंगे, गाएंगे, ऐश करेंगे और क्या. Kind of. Sorry. I kind of went on a tangent there. But a lot of life-changing moments sometimes are how you view yourself.
Yes.
That makes it life-changing, and how others view you. So when you're fat, it's a different view. When you're skinny, it's a different view. When you're skinny and then you put on weight again, it's a whole different view.
Yeah, actually, what was the stimulus for that? Because very few people want to put on weight again.
Oh no, I did not want to. I swear.
It just happened.
It just-
He just said that now I look so good that, it doesn't matter even if I put
Want to
on
look
weight.
bad again. Let's put on some weight.
Yeah.
What about you, Abbas? Would you be able to describe something that changed your life, terrifically?
Yeah, I have two life-changing moments, one happy and one sad.
Okay.
Which one should I say first?
Go chronological.
Okay, chronologically, the happy one comes first. Happened
So you ended with the sad one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The happy one happened in 2010 when my very first article was published in Jam magazine.
Oh my God, I was in 10th standard that time too, the same time.
Oh, while you were putting on weight.
When I was losing weight.
Oh, while you were
Yeah,
losing weight,
yeah,
I was typing away on the computer. But it's special because I was studying dentistry and I initially wanted to pursue journalism, but I was pushed into dentistry. And but I wasn't liking what I was studying. So what I used to do was in the night I used to write articles. And I saw a tweet by the editor of Jam, who's now become a best-selling author, Rashmi Bansal.
Okay.
And she had put out a tweet asking if someone wants to spoof this movie called Ravan starring Abhishek Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai. In one night, I wrote like a dummy piece parodying the film. I sent it to them, I mailed it to them, and they published it. So that was that kind of gave me the push to
Yeah, the
try and
confidence.
convince my
Yeah.
dad to finally let me quit dentistry and pursue what I wanted. So that was a life-changing experience. And the second one happened early last year in January 18th to be precise, when my dad suffered a brain hemorrhage. And that sort of made me realize how impermanent things are, how things you take for granted can go away in a second. So especially the first week after that, when I had to spend nights in the hospital, literally feed my dad because his right side had been paralyzed, to see your dad who you always look up to and who's like basically a hero for you, someone who's always there to fall back on, to see that person become weak in an instant. I often say this, it's like my dad aged 10 years overnight. So to see him, to feed him, to help him stand up, walk, all of those things, to see my family around him, that was a very impactful, life-altering moment. And that has a kind of a domino effect where you start questioning your own life choices as well. And you realize that life isn't as permanent as you think it is. So whatever you want to do, you might as well start doing it right now rather than wait for a better moment to come.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the two life-changing experiences in my life.
Okay, so for me, I think I can't define something as a life-altering in that sense, but definitely starting a career of your own in a city when you are completely alone and you're on, you have to be very disciplined and all those things. So I think making a career out of nowhere and nothing was something really challenging and life-changing for me, because the kind of person I am today is completely different from what I was 10 years ago.
Okay.
So these 10 years have been I've been completely changed from where I started as a person, as a professional.
Right.
I think all the experiences would count into that.
That's a cheat, You're like all the moments in the last 10 years have been life changing.
No, see, I think, look, what is life? Life is perspective. When your perspective changes, life changes.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think, yes, because it's very difficult actually to nail that particular moment for certain people, and I would fall into that category of people.
So you lived in Delhi alone, I'm presuming. So would you say moving from Lucknow to Delhi would be a life-changing
because
moment?
Initially I moved into a house where my sister was also staying.
Okay.
So it was not that difficult. But when I moved out of her house, and then, because in 2012 when that Nirbhaya case happened, and I was living on my own, and my sister was frantically calling me, like I was not picking up the call because I was doing something at work, and when I looked at my phone, there were 56 missed calls.
Jeez.
So you imagine that I have moved out of that fear because I live in that space. So as a person, I'm completely changed. Maybe if I was there in that space in Lucknow or somewhere, I wouldn't have reacted the way I reacted that day, being in Delhi. So I think I do not even know how to define these changes.
Okay.
On that note, and as I speak about Delhi, I have a couple of haikus with me as we have been discussing this Haiku Jam app. Which constantly we discuss about the lines that are written on that app and how apt they are to describe circumstances in our lives. So there is a haiku, and the topic was women's safety when we were discussing about the report, Thomson Reuters report. So this haiku is written by 3 people as usual. It goes like, reacting to harassment with a fierce mind and unapologetic stance. So this is about women's safety, written by Neera Sharma at TIN_A, which is Tina, at Sana. Another haiku that I have in front of me it talks about women at work. It says, needs approval from her so-called family to follow her passion. There is another one which is, why do we have to live in fear whilst pretending to smile? This one is written by at Ayu, at Dart Mistel, at Shahbaz Hassan. So these are the haikus that we got to read today. You can download Haiku Jam and become a jammer. Download from App Store and Google Play Store. On that note, we'll take a break and we'll be right back on IVM Daily.
Shunyavan, 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 Shunyavan.
$1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got formed.
No, the tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Welcome back. So before the break, me, Gaurav and Abbas were discussing about our life-changing experiences. But today in the studio, we have Mudit Dandwate, who will share his life-altering moment. Welcome, Mudit.
Thank you.
So, you've been listening to us for quite a long time now.
And it was a really good listen. So, so my life-altering moment was actually one in which it threatened my life. So, I'll share the story. So, I was it was a very hectic week, right? I live in Bangalore. So after a kind of month of very hectic moments, we decided to go on a stroll. And I have 2 dogs with me. So we all went for a stroll. We generally do that on Sunday mornings. And we went in the outskirts of Bangalore.
Okay.
And one of the dogs decided to enter the lake because they just love water. And as soon as he was inside the lake, he started panicking, right? And obviously watching him panicking deep into the water, I was like, is he drowning? What is happening to him? And I jumped without thinking a lot about it. I just jumped into the lake to help him. And I got him out from my right hand, and from left hand I was swimming. And a crocodile snapped my left hand.
What?
Right, and started to take me inside the water. Now at that moment, I really had no choice, right? I was almost inside 1.5 meter inside water. So I decided to snap my remaining arm, because using that leverage, he was pulling me inside, right? So I kind of did a somersault that broke my arm. That gave me enough leverage to come out of the water, right? And then after that, So Crocodile was gone, both the dogs were safe, we were outside. Now, but there were more dangers which were over there. So I was bleeding like an open tap, right? So at that point, I had to control the blood flow, because that was the thing that could have killed me. So then I remembered all, trauma and all these things I used to read up a lot about. So I knew what to do, thankfully. So I tied myself up, I controlled the blood flow. Then we called the ambulance. Ambulance was almost 2 hours away. So then, 2 hours away means coming to us, going to us. I know I didn't have 4 hours. So then I decided to get my car. So I asked few of the passerbys to get my cars, drop me to Hasmat Hospital, where I was treated, and then happened. But what really changed me was after that, there were so many other dangers that I had, because it was paining like anything, and my mind was playing tricks on me, and that could have easily passed me into a coma. So I was trying to play tricks with my mind. Having known that what all can happen, so I was trying not to close my eyes. I called up my parents because I didn't want them to know about this incident from media. I was humming songs to calm myself down.
Which song?
So I was singing "Main Zindagi Ka Saath Nibhata Chala Gaya." I love that song. So I was still, as in I was trying to be as normal as possible. I was just tricking myself, right? And more than that, I also realized that this is a big thing that happened, right? Obviously, I would say. And more than me, whoever has seen me, for them also it was a big thing. So now how they take it also would matter a lot to me.
Right.
So I decided while journey that the best way I can probably take this, if I always wear my smile, right? Even though whatever has happened, a lot worse could have happened, right? If, as in, there are very less crocodile survivors, as in my surgeon told me, no one comes out of crocodile. That trauma is a lot. That is too much of a danger, right?
Yeah.
And so I came out. That was a good thing, right? So I can take it as positive. I can be as positive as possible. I can be smiling, and that is what will reflect from other people as well. And then,
exactly,
right? And that's what happened, right? And everyone around me also, and then started behaving as if nothing happened.
But did you never feel that, why me? I mean, there was no single vulnerable moment that you felt that...
Not
I mean,
really.
why did it happen to me?
Not really. More than that, I was kind of happy that if it was anyone else...
They might not have survived.
I'm not saying that I'm great or anything in that way, but I think I was prepared for that moment, as in I could have done what I did.
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. You said you'd read up about how to deal in situations like these. So did that come from, like, were you generally interested in reading stuff like that?
So yeah,
because you sort of
knew what to do.
Not knew, but you had like a sort of
sense,
premonition that I might be in a situation like that someday.
I don't know. As in, that was pretty much in subconscious, but yeah, that was my genre. As in 127 hours. All these stories were my genre. I would always read up about that.
Right.
So I knew that what is the neurotrauma, how your mind would trick you, how people have actually came out of it. And that is what I could do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I knew the steps.
Right.
I could just do it. That was the best thing.
How were the first couple of days after this incident happened?
Not a big thing actually for me. As in, I was trying. I was generally calm. As in, I don't know how. As in, right now it is easier said than done. But
Right, of
even
course.
then, I think I was calm. I'll share one incident. Right. So I was once in ICU, and the attendant saw me little serious for the very first time, and he approached me. He asked me that, "What is the issue? Do you want to discuss something?" I told him I am just serious and I am thinking how I am going to chop my right hand nails. Right? and we just laughed like anything. And because I was getting sick of all that ICU beep, beep, beep,
Right.
beep. That was making me sick rather than anything. They're like, I know. And then I had good confidence on myself at certain level that I will be able to come out of it. I have somewhat overconfidence on my engineering abilities as well. So I knew then how I could probably get out. I could just do things which I'm missing about.
And you joined office very quickly.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then that was my getaway more than anything else. And then joining office, and then that relieved me. And then that is my home, so I have to get back there.
Right. I mean, one thing when we talk about a life-changing experience is how you view the world,
Right.
And what you are doing after that experience. And one thing you are doing is smiling and passing on that smile and that aura of like positivity, after going through something. So other people who have issues which in comparison are much, much smaller than, losing a hand.
Right.
I mean, they can like reflect on their life and be like, hey, if this guy's going to be happy, or if this guy can like bring out that positivity in him and not cry about it, then you know what, we can change our lives too. That is one thing for sure about the life-changing experience. Another thing is how people treat you. How do people, do people treat you differently now, or ask you about your arm, or is it always like a story to tell when you go to the bar, like, yeah, I was in a crocodile fight?
You can say that. So in a way, I really enjoy at so you can see my new arm that is actually I have not made it skin color, right?
Yeah.
I want people to actually come to me, talk about it. I am not worried about it.
Okay.
Right? I talk about it as easily as possible.
It doesn't hurt anymore.
No, it never hurt actually.
Okay.
That much. As in, after day 2 or day 3, I was telling these stories to everyone, and even kids approach me. That is the best part about it.
And kids don't have any doubts about asking questions. They
and that's what I want, right? So I am much more approachable now.
Right.
So that's the positive side, right?
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And were you a positive person even before this incident happened?
I hope so.
But you said that this all has happened because you were aware of certain tricks, or because of your reading, that you knew certain things that you did at that particular moment of difficulty. But did you know always, you knew that you had that kind of strength within yourself to pull something so difficult off?
So I won't say I had known everything throughout, but what even at that moment I was able to take few very difficult decisions one after another, and that actually changed me, because that made me think that we are capable of much more than what we think we are.
Right.
Right. And when that happened, and coming out of that, snapping my own arm, those were very difficult things that I did.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, when I did that, now over here on land, I don't think anything is difficult
bad
for me. Right. So even with one arm, I am more than capable.
So I just have one favor to ask from you. There are a lot of people out there who are listening, and I guess in everybody's life, in somebody's life right now is a life-changing moment for them. Might be, yeah? So for a listener who might be going through something, who might be going through a transition of changing their life, maybe, do you have any words of advice on how to get past that?
That is the difficult one. I think everyone has to find their own mojo, I would say. There is no one recipe that will fit all. What I would try to tell is that life is very beautiful. And even though sometimes it might be low, but if they just, the perseverance is there, it always jumps back. That is the best thing about it. And I enjoy that. So they can also just hang about a bit, even if they might be feeling low. It will certainly bounce back.
It'll bounce back.
Yeah.
It will bounce back, definitely. And your experience actually tells us, like the way you said, that nothing as bad as happened to me can be compared to something on land which happened to you inside the
Yeah.
water. So all of us who are so worried about the professions and, day-to-day mundane things, it's a big example that, come on, I mean, this is not as bad as it can be.
So thank you so much, Mudit, for coming in and, sharing your experiences with us. It was really eye-opening. And you know what? There's a bit more positivity in this room already, which is great. So if you guys have any kind of life-changing moment going on, you can tell us about how you deal it on our social media handles. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can use the hashtag IVM Daily to connect with us. If you want to connect with me personally, I am Aya_G on Instagram. Abbas?
You can find me on Twitter at Abbas Momin.
Swati Bakshi02 on Twitter.
And Mudit, where can people connect with you if they want to find out more about what you did?
Mudit Dandwate, that is my Twitter handle. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. All right then, guys. Until next time. Bye.
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 Goodbye.
As you can see, we have a podcast listener in his natural habitat. Billions of years of evolution have led him to this point. He's on his way to work, and listening to podcasts makes his miserable day better. He will now head to work and use all his knowledge to communicate with other colleagues and possibly future mates. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out all the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.